Hey kiddo, come sit down and bring your imagination. Picture two neighborhood teams who always want the same shiny toy. One team is clever and knows a bunch of little tricks. The other is fast and keeps almost catching up. That's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. When they meet, it's not just a game. It's like watching two kids race around the playground who both think they deserve the last cookie. We're going to play detective using their last four games like footprints in the sand. Each footprint tells a story: who was fast, who tripped, who learned new moves, and who was calm at the end. I'll explain each of those four games like a short story. Super simple. Then put those stories together and make a careful guess about who might win next time. Think of me as a friendly teacher who explains the tricky stuff with easy pictures, so it makes sense even if you've never seen a football game before. This was one of those games that felt like two kids playing tug of war, where nobody quite lets go until the very last second. The Chiefs won 19-17, and the win came in dramatic fashion. The kind of ending where the crowd holds its breath and then jumps up when the ball goes through the uprights. For the Chargers, it was the kind of loss that stings. They were right there. They had chances, but one tiny moment, a field goal that just squeaked through, decided everything. What this game taught us is big and small at the same time. Big because it showed the Chiefs can win when it counts. They can handle pressure and make the plays that matter in the last minutes. Small because it also shows how little mistakes or one lucky bounce can flip a close game. If you imagine this as a playground race, both kids ran fast and bumped elbows the whole way, and at the finish line, one kid managed to stretch his finger across the ribbon first. That kind of win gives a team confidence. They think, we can win even when it's scary. For the Chargers, it's a lesson. They've been close. They know how to play with the Chiefs, but they need to close the door on the other team and stop giving away tiny chances.
This match was a quieter kind of battle, not a fireworks show, more like two kids building forts and refusing to let the other knock them down. The Chiefs won 17-10, a low-scoring game where defenses were the heroes and big plays were rarer. What I want you to notice is this: teams that can win both the loud, high-scoring games and the quiet, defensive games are dangerous. It means they have more than one way to win. In playground terms, it's like having two secret moves in a game. If the other kid learns one, you still have the other. That day, Kansas City didn't need to throw long touchdowns to win. They did the steady, careful stuff, moved the ball when needed, protected the ball, and stopped the Chargers when it mattered. For the Chargers, having a low score like 10 points shows their offense was held back. Maybe their big plays were stopped, or maybe they made little mistakes. The lesson from this one is about patience and grit. Sometimes winning is not about a single magical moment. It's about doing the boring, right things over and over until you've got the points. That's something teams learn, and it's why the Chiefs' win here matters when we think about who's more likely to win the next time.
This second-to-last game reads like the tiniest margin you can imagine, a one-point game. Imagine a spelling bee where two kids have almost the same score and the winner gets chosen by a single letter. That's what 13-12 feels like. The Chiefs eked out a win by making a few just right plays and taking advantage of one big swing. There was a scoop and score play that helped flip momentum, and a kicker who nailed field goals at the right times. Games like this are important because they tell you how teams behave in super close moments. Some teams fold under pressure and start making silly mistakes. Other teams, the ones that have practiced being calm, find a way to get the tiny things right: a clean snap, a good block, a steady foot for a field goal. This game showed the Chiefs were that steady team that day. For the Chargers, it was another almost win, another day where changing one small thing could have changed the whole result. If you're keeping a notebook, write down: one-point games show that both teams are close in ability, and the smallest details decide the winner. That's a big clue when we try to guess the next game. Now let's go back to a day when the Chiefs' offense turned on the afterburners. A game where Patrick Mahomes threw a lot and Travis Kelce caught many passes. The Chiefs won 31-17, and that felt like pressing the turbo button on your toy car. Suddenly, the Chiefs were zooming, and the Chargers couldn't catch up. This is the kind of game that reminds everyone the Chiefs don't only win by quiet toughness. They can score a lot when their big play gear is working. For kids, think of it like this. Sometimes one kid in the playground finds a super speedy route and scores 3 times before the other kid figures out where to go. That shows potential and ability. But, and this is important, just because a team can have a huge day doesn't mean they always do. Sports are not magic. Sometimes the magic shows up, and sometimes it doesn't. Still, this game is strong evidence that when the Chiefs' big players click, they can put up lots of points and make the scoreboard look one-sided. So when we imagine the next game, one possibility is a Chiefs day where everything lands and they win comfortably. But remember, the Chargers have been close in other games, so that big Chiefs day isn't a guarantee every time. Okay, little detective, here's where we put the clues together like a puzzle. We looked at 4 games. 1 big Chiefs blowout, 31-17. 2 tense close finishes, 19-17 and 13-12. And 1 steady, low-scoring Chiefs win, 17-10. The important thing you should remember is this. Kansas City won all 4 of those recent matchups, and several of them were decided by the smallest of margins. That tells us 2 big things. First, the Chiefs have learned how to finish the Chargers. In tight moments, they've found a way to grab the win. That builds something called end-of-game confidence, which is like the belief that when things get scary at the finish line, you can still win. Second, the Chargers have been close many times and sometimes push the Chiefs hard, which means the Chargers are not far behind. They just need to fix a few little things to swing these games the other way. So, if you ask me to pick a winner, like a teacher giving a careful answer, I'd say Chiefs are the likely winners, but it will probably be close and exciting. Now let me explain why that is in kid words.